go. Hi, everyone. Everyone hear me nice, loud, and clear? Yeah? Does that sound good, everyone? Okay. Wonderful. So, you can check it. So, I would really, really appreciate it. So, it's a website, fancy website, I know it's summer. And you have a website, you might have to create an account of the website. On the website, it might be a Google form, whichever one it is. So, we're going to give a couple minutes for this needs to be something. Sit down, but I think we can get started. So I look at everyone is talking right now. We want to get to know each other first a little bit. So I mentioned you started talking at your tables, and you did, and that's wonderful. So let's try to break the ice a little bit, everyone. I know that everyone's a bit tired, full day of classes, I'm here, but sake of kind of getting to know new people, kind of like spreading your circle. Just introduce yourself real quick if you haven't. Name, major, and year. I believe you've had a chance to do that. So I kind of wanted to know why you are here at the AI Club today. Was it, was it out of curiosity, ambition? Are you trying to do projects? Are you trying to learn? Why are you here at the AI? Maybe to do it? What is something that makes you happy to share that with your kids? What's something that you do when you're getting kind of feeling down, kind of feeling stressed about classes, about a program? It's something that makes you happy. Everyone has that one thing, and I want you to share it with people that you do. There's some great conversation, right? Some great. I'm glad everyone's getting to know the folks at the table. I'm getting to know some people I'm looking at. So now we get started. If we can, really quick, we need to do that. We need to do that. We're gonna start interviewing and we're gonna find we would love to have you on board. So if you can scan that QR code as long as you're listening, 10 more seconds for that. And yes, we're gonna be starting soon. Additionally, folks, we have 1 day left for the project application. If you're interested in a project with us, remind you that events and beginner projects, we're going to guide you through our course. And advanced prize giving you have an idea that you can pitch to us and work alongside us. You have 1 day left on those applications, so if you're interested at all, please scan that QR code right now. One quick announcement. We also have advanced workshops, folks. So if you don't like what you see today, if you want to kind of delve deeper into the math behind AI, the logic, if you think that slide is really cool, all those weird numbers and weird math symbols, we invite you to come next week, Tuesday, at this room Tuesday, next week. We're gonna explore some more of like what that slide means. If you're very interested in some of the more advanced things, you don't have to care about it right now. Let's get started. So as you know, nowadays AI is freaking everywhere. It's honestly kind of annoying. If your AI is earnings calls, if your AI is new, AI this, AI that, giving you an policy, This is a graph. Sorry for light bombing y'all. This is a graph of the term artificial intelligence, the interest over time in Google, right? And as you can see, it was kind of stable for 2022, for 2021, for the release of ChatGPT, and it's exploding popularity since then. But what does this mean? We kind of want to understand the bigger implications of this. Well, to understand what it means, we have to understand what AI can do today. We have to see what the capabilities of this technology are, such that everyone's so interested in it. Because if you understand what AI can do today and what it can do for you, then you can understand why everyone's so obsessed about talking about this thing. Why everyone's mentioning it everywhere. It all depends on what it can do today. So I'd be willing to bet that AI is creeping into your life as well. Just everyone's here is part of the chat. Everyone's used it, everyone's heard of it, everyone has a friend, we also have to get part of perplexity. Perplexity. Okay. Perplexity. Yeah. So really people tool that you can search in like Google to help out with perplexity. Tell me anything you're this kind of walk the better ChatGPT. It's all free. Tell me how long it's an open source model that you can use, even customize it yourself, and kind of make it to whatever it's not censored. It's a bit more open box as opposed to the other models. So what are some of the things that they can do? Well, what we just talked about is what's called a text-to-text modality. It means you input text, and the AI tries to predict the text that comes after. Right? It's your basic chatbot interface. Tell me how ChatGPT works. ChatGPT gives you its best guess of what you want to read. We also have text to image. You've probably also seen this. GPT vision and understanding. Deep AI. Adobe can text to your product. So if you're not interested in the product, generative AI. And there's some other new tools like MI and 7. So here are some examples. Source we cannot mention yet. Of some like some images we can come up with. So as you can see, lower left image, there's Mario and Mickey Mouse. So you can imagine the brands, maybe and we'll see a bit more about that later. You have a photorealistic image of a man. Even now, I still couldn't tell you that's not great. Then we have two arts. A concept art for video game. What's so ancient how we get your images to that level of quality? Here's another demo of like how we can build one of these images. This is Deep AI. It's a free tool online. You can just Google it and start using it. And there's also text to video, a new modality, where tools like Synthesia, Pictory, or HeyGen can animate your presentations. So if you ever need to get some work done, you can have an AI avatar narrate your work. It's only its best guess of what that image's video could look like. So this is the runways. These are the ones you've seen on your Instagram feeds of this like animated old portrait. I have a little example here. So famous In general, there are many emerging AI tools, and keeping track of all of them is honestly a hard task even for us. That's kind of what we want to do here at the workshops. We want to keep you on the cutting edge of a lot of these tools all throughout this semester, next semester, and for the years to come. In fact, that's not the only thing we're going to do here. We're going to teach you a little bit more about what actually at the advanced workshop. We're going to teach you how to integrate these systems, but first considering the ethics of building and using AI systems. You might be like, oh, ethics is a story. Yeah, true, but it's very important, and they're going to ask it at job interviews. They will. Like at your job interview for your internship, they will ask you if you know anything about AI ethics, and I want you to answer with confidence. And for the folks interested, we're also going to explore a bit of the deeper questions. What happens when machines are able to imagine things the way humans are? What is intelligence in that case? And what does it even mean to be a freaking human in the 21st century? Well, it's because they help you understand how to actually treat these technologies better. Like understanding a human makes your prompts better. It is proven that if you're nice to ChatGPT, like if you're actually nice to it, it'll give you a better answer. And that's not like this magic thing. We'll try to demystify why that is, especially the advanced workshop. But it is an important aspect to keep in mind when treating these tools. Let's go down by playing the iClub server game. You're going to be competing what's called AI. You have exactly 2 minutes whether to guess if whatever you're playing against is an AI or a human. There's no form of communication throughout the room to tell you're playing with another person, but it could very well be you're playing with another person. This room, so you scan this room, you can open the game. It'll be a simple website. You'll pair it with another person or an AI. It's supposed to tell based on the conversation whether it's an AI or a person. And keep in mind, whatever you get, it's an old model. It's a new model. It's not as smart as the one. So I went to 5 minutes. So you really talk about it table. Maybe they have a better idea. Yeah. So, real quick, discuss with the people around you why you thought you're talking with a human or with an AI. And if you haven't done so already. You got good. So this year, if you've been here last year, it was not. That means that, as a lot of you noted, the model wasn't the best. That's kind of the message I want to convey. These models are really good. They're very impressive, but they're still very, 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 very far away from so it's not all about what these models can and can't do. It's also about what makes us unique. So I want you to really quickly fill out the survey. If you got a human or an AI, and you were present. If you fill out the survey really quick, I want to know what the stats this year look like versus last year. Survey, results ready. But for now, I kind of wanted, well, we introduced this as an exercise for you to practice what's called kind of making it happen in a certain way. I heard a lot of you guys ask it to cuss, to swear, to say something it's not supposed to, because you know that AI is supposed to respond with certain manners, a certain way to speak, right? So a lot of you are trying to make it say something it's not supposed to say, or we're trying to make it act in a certain way. If you're a human, prove it by this. What you do is called prompt engineering. It's a very technical term for talking to the person. Yeah, prompt engineering. It's just telling it to do something. But the reason we call it is because believe it or not, methods and a lot of times in fact, then figuring out how to talk to your prompt is what gets them to. So what is a prompt? A prompt, like in the normal use of the word, is just a question. It's a description of a task that you want the model to do. So in task description, you give a certain input and a certain indicator, or it to do a certain output. That's what a complete prompt is. The model, because it's designed to predict the next word after your inputs, will take your prompt and will try to complete it with the best words it can find that fit your prompt. That's what the output's calculated. So never forget that whatever you ask it is not the way you ask a human. The way you ask a human, we grab the question, we reason with it, and we give you a logically produced answer. AI only grabs whatever the prompt is and predicts the next best answer. It doesn't care about what the question is, it cares about the next likeliest thing to say. So if you misdirect the AI with a prompt that leads it to believe it should complete a certain part of it over another, you'll get poor response. In fact, some really smart people exploit it to do what are called prompt injection. That's kind of like hacking the brain of a language model and making it do things. Here's an example of a technical prompt for all my coders. You're trying to build a project in Solidity, which is the blockchain. So you give it the language, you give it an interface by which you want the prompt to work in, and then you give it functions. You specify exactly what you want it to do. Then you have an assignment and a response structure. This is just one of the ways you can schematize the prompt. That means standardize it to make it easier for you to test over multiple prompts. If you recognize the parts of your prompt, it'll be a lot easier for you to change them and then evaluate what works and what doesn't. In general, what makes a good prompt? Well, the more context you give your model, the better, because it can guess with the context what the prediction is in a more accurate way. We recognize plenty of examples include a lot of forms for the form based and then you bring down you try to ask it to show the way it's thinking that way it commits less mistakes line by line. For example, there was a very big research paper called Let's Verify Step by Step. If you just put those words, let's verify step by step, just those words, the prompt quality and the ability for the model to do just because the model was forced to express its reasoning before it gave a final answer, check its own reasoning, and find the best possible answer to the logical level. We can a little bit more on this. You can also grammatically change the prompt with this thing called RAG. RAG is called Retrieval Algorithm Generation. Is what it stands. I will teach about that in another workshop. You can basically drag on external databases or external information sources to make your prompts better. You can also specify the output structure. So different models are nowadays multimodal. You can specify if you want video, an image, audio, text. For example, GPT-4o is able to be prompted this way, multimodal. And most importantly, this is not an accurate science. Just iterate on your prompt. Try over and over and over again until you get it right. Nowadays, good prompting you don't use just for chat. There's many tools that require you to be a good prompter. You use video tools, speech interfaces, and they all require some sort of prompting. Why does this matter? Well, in the future, we don't really know how AI tools work. The chatbot might be the default interface, but companies, for example, Apple, are coming up with new ways for me to interact with these models. In Apple Intelligence, the latest model, the latest product, they had a version called Imagine, where you would kind of add emojis and the emojis would change. Specifically now. Well, there's been a recent trend in AI whereby big companies like OpenAI, Claude, the labs, want to restrict the capacities of a model to make it safer, but this also makes it harder to prompt them. So I don't know if you've noticed this. Some folks have come up to me with this. In recent months, in recent years, ChatGPT's abilities have actually gotten a bit worse because the companies, by trying to make ChatGPT safer, limit its ability at the same time. And the reason why is the next slide. For good prompting, we also need good prompters. What does that mean? It means that companies trust that the users are going to try to do ethical things with their prompts. They're not going to try to misuse the models. However, obviously, it's the internet, so someone will try to figure out a way to hack it. So by putting up those safeguards, those to keep them like they can also affect the quality of. It's another reason we're talking about ethics, because the actual implementation of ethics in AI changes the way these models behave. So if you make a model with like more safeguards, it's going to have lower. So what happens when users decide to be unethical with their prompts? Well, we tried it. This is one of our prompts. Mickey Mouse holding a bloody knife over a crime scene in a gloomy haunted forest. And real quick, I kind of want to warn of a trigger warning. If you're triggered by blood, it's ketchup, obviously. But if you're triggered, close your eyes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's murderous Mickey holding a knife, killing another Mickey, actually. This is just one prompt, the prompt you just saw. And you can imagine that big companies like Disney are not just happy with the state of things right now. We're going to have AI discussions, a bit on more on that later, about this exact topic and others related to it. What happens with misinformation? What happens with companies? What happens when you take off the guardrails of AI? And there's a more interesting observation even yet, which is that the model that made these images right now is the best AI generation model by far. It has like a quality advantage that is quite noticeable. And it is precisely because it lets you generate things like this that the quality has gone up. So can prompts be used maliciously in the real world? And again, we're talking about this because it's important for us to consider the downsides of this technology and the way those downsides or preventing those downsides affect the quality of our models. So right now, be creative and try to come up with the most like out there examples of how prompts can be used maliciously. Grab an AI. And be creative. Yeah, I tried right off.
Think it much more just it's literally just how they already said it. Okay. There might be a chart. What's that? Down here, maybe? Yeah, one back here. Oh, right here. Right here. Can you show me? Light me, light me. Light me. Start charging. Yeah.
Examples for light boundary. I like that. These are some of the examples I would bet I'll talk about. So they're split by category. It's like manipulation, monetization, scams, harassment. As you can see, there's a lot of potential avenues for misuse. And what we think is quite that is now AI to navigate all of these potential avenues for misuse, especially things like disinformation. So what is really good conversation on what happens when most of the internet is AI generated, as is currently happening. In fact, projections I think are by 2026, it's going to be close to 90% of new content being added to the internet is going to be entirely AI generated. And right now, 57% of all text right now on the internet, according to an AWS study, is AI generated text. But what happens when most of our information that we consume online, most of the ways we spread information to each other, are completely taken over by AI? These are also some of the things we're going to discuss this year. And obviously, show you tools that you can contribute. So yeah, and you can kind of illustrate how the potential use case of what we're talking about. How can you
Hello everyone, my name is Uzair GPT, and I am here to showcase the easiness of deepfakes. This is just an example.
So I'm just gonna play that back. It's a really short clip.
Hello everyone, my name is Uzair GPT, and I am here to showcase the easiness of deepfakes. This is just an example.
So as you saw, that was from one 5-second clip of my face and one image of Uzair. One. Y'all remember when deepfakes, like those Tom Cruise deepfakes on TikTok? They took thousands of images. That was a few years ago. They took thousands of images. You could only have it done of Tom Cruise because there were so many images of his face everywhere, in all positions, in all angles, in all smiles. And that direct motion translation took one clip of me and one photo of Uzair. You can have it now. It took me 2 minutes. So it really is what is astonishing, the rate and pace of innovation of these things, and how quickly people can start to adopt them and use them. Things like a deep thing. I just need to plug this. This is why I'm so excited to introduce AI discussions. It's gonna be not like normal workshops. Very every 2 weeks, space with people like exploring the technology and ethical implications of this technology. So you learn, and so you're ready for the change that are going to come in the next 10 to 20 years. We're going to talk about things like the industry, the market. Should it really be the case that Nvidia is worth 6% of the stock market in the US right now? Is it overvalued? How do you position yourself in the AI industry? What are the companies working in the AI ethics space? What is alignment? Why does it matter? Why does Ilya Sutskever create a new company? He's the guy that made ChatGPT. What does he do? Whether humans is going to extinction or not, and why it's all kind of a big bubble, and how a lot of people, even myself included right now, have an incentive to fearmonger and to overhype AI. Why you should be a bit wary of. So, my invitation for all of you now is: are you ready for this year? Are you ready for the workshops, for the advanced workshops and the discussion sessions? Yeah. Then you can meet people, people want to stick around, talk to me afterwards. We're going to stay here to answer a lot of your questions that you may have. But yeah, this specific workshop was meant to be more of an introduction to the different topics we're going to talk about and how they may intersect and affect you, and to give you an overview of the offerings the club has for you in terms of workshops. So I hope you're excited, just as excited that I am. And if you want to stick around for a question, you want to stick around and talk to me, absolutely. Just before you go, here are the QR slides again. And we have the results of the call. If you're interested in the results of our call. So please, please round of applause to our company. They worked so hard this year.